Food isn't just fuel. It's a force that has shaped history in ways we rarely notice. Wars have been fought over spices, empires expanded for sugar, and entire populations moved for potatoes. But some of the foods that changed the world didn't just taste strange. They were strange. Today, we're digging into the bizarre, unlikely, and sometimes dangerous foods that rewrote the story of human civilization. Let's start with nutmeg, the spice that once cost more than gold. In the 1600s, nutmeg wasn't just for holiday baking. Europeans believed it could cure the plague. That belief triggered a spice war between colonial powers. The Dutch and the British fought over the Banda Islands, the only place in the world where nutmeg trees grew naturally. Villages were burned, thousands were killed, and at one point, the Dutch even traded Manhattan to the British in exchange for a tiny, nutmeg-producing island. That's how powerful nutmeg was. Now consider the humble potato. Today it's comfort food, but in the 16th century, Europeans thought it was poisonous. It was a member of the nightshade family after all. But when famine hit, potatoes proved to be a game changer. They grew underground, survived harsh climates, and produced more calories per acre than any other staple. In Ireland, they became so vital that when potato crops failed in the 1840s due to blight, over 1 million people died and millions more emigrated. A strange root vegetable became both savior and curse. Next up, ketchup. You might think of it as a burger condiment, but ketchup actually began as a fermented fish sauce in ancient China called ketchup. It didn't contain tomatoes for centuries. British colonists adapted it with local ingredients, including mushrooms and walnuts. Eventually, tomatoes were added in the 1800s, and Heinz mass-produced it in 1876. What started as a fishy fermentation from Asia is now one of the most recognizable sauces on the planet. Bizarre origin, global domination. Let's talk about coffee. Legend has it, a goat herder in Ethiopia noticed his goats getting jittery after eating red berries. Curious, he tried them himself, and the coffee craze began. But when coffee reached Europe, it wasn't welcomed with open arms. Clergy called it the bitter invention of Satan. In fact, it was almost banned by the Pope until he tasted it himself and gave it his blessing. Fast forward to today, and coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. Then there's the pineapple, once a symbol of extreme wealth. In the 1700s, pineapples were so rare in Europe that people didn't eat them. They rented them. You could pay to borrow a pineapple and parade it around at parties to show off your status. Artists even painted them into still-life portraits to flaunt the owner's wealth. Eventually, canned pineapple made the fruit accessible to everyone. But the idea that food equals power, that's never gone away. Moving on to chocolate. The Maya and Aztec civilizations treated cacao as sacred. It wasn't eaten in candy bars, but consumed as a bitter, frothy drink used in religious rituals. Cacao beans were even used as currency. When Europeans got their hands on it, they sweetened it, industrialized it, and turned it into what we now call chocolate. But behind its sweet exterior is a long, bitter history of colonization and slave labor. A bizarre bean, indeed. One that built fortunes and fueled exploitation. Now let's get weird. Casu marzu is a cheese from Sardinia that's banned in many countries. Why? Because it contains live maggots. The maggots help ferment the cheese, making it soft and spreadable. But if they jump while you're eating, it's considered part of the experience. Locals claim it's a delicacy. Health officials strongly disagree. Yet this cheese is a reminder that what's bizarre to one culture is a tradition to another. And don't forget surströmming, a Swedish fermented herring that smells like death in a can. It's so pungent that it's banned on some airlines. Yet every year, Swedes hold surströmming parties, eating it with flatbread and potatoes. If you can survive the smell, they say the taste is worth it. For some, it's heritage. For others, it's a dare. Speaking of dangerous, fugu is a Japanese delicacy made from pufferfish, which contains a deadly neurotoxin. Chefs train for years to serve it safely. One wrong cut and you're done. Yet people line up to eat it, chasing thrill alongside flavor. Fugu isn't just a dish, it's proof that food and risk go hand in hand. Finally, let's look at how food can even start revolutions. In pre-revolutionary France, grain prices skyrocketed. Bread, the staple of the French diet, became unaffordable. The starving poor grew restless. Then came the infamous quote, "Let them eat cake." Whether or not Marie Antoinette said it, the phrase lit a fire of resentment. Food, or the lack of it, became the match that sparked the French Revolution. From nutmeg to potatoes, from cheese with maggots to fish that can kill you, these foods didn't just fill bellies, they changed borders, built empires, and brought down monarchies. They're proof that what we eat doesn't just reflect our culture, it shapes our destiny. Hungry for more strange history? Subscribe to OddlyWise for weekly dives into the foods, facts, and forgotten forces that shaped the world. What's the weirdest food you've ever tried? Drop it in the comments below.